When you think of Disney, you picture magic, childhood dreams, and fairy tales. But behind the castle lies one of the most powerful entertainment empires in the world. From Marvel superheroes to Star Wars galaxies, from Pixar animations to Fox blockbusters, Disney's reach extends far beyond what most people realize. This is the story of how a small animation studio became a global giant that controls what billions of people watch, think, and feel. Welcome to the investigation of Disney's kingdom, where the illusion of choice masks a corporate empire that dominates global media and culture. It all began in 1923 when Walt Disney and his brother Roy founded the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio in a small garage in Hollywood. Mickey Mouse debuted in 1928, launching Disney into the entertainment business with simple black and white cartoons. By 1937, Disney had created the first full-length animated feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, revolutionizing animation forever. The 1955 opening of Disneyland marked Disney's expansion beyond films into theme parks and merchandise. For decades, Disney remained a family entertainment company, but that was about to change dramatically. The turn of the millennium saw Disney's animation powerhouse begin to falter. But newly appointed CEO Bob Iger had a bold vision. In 2006, he orchestrated his first major move, the acquisition of Pixar Animation Studios for a staggering $7.4 billion. This wasn't just a purchase, it was a creative transfusion. At the time, Pixar was the undisputed king of computer animation, and this deal brought its creative brain trust, including John Lasseter and Ed Catmull, into Disney's fold to revitalize their entire animation division. Suddenly, beloved and critically acclaimed franchises like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and Cars were all under Disney's control. This was the first step in a meticulously planned strategy to dominate entertainment not by creating from scratch, but by acquiring the world's most cherished stories. Just 3 years later, Disney shocked the financial and entertainment worlds by acquiring Marvel Entertainment for $4 billion. Many analysts were skeptical, viewing comic book properties as a niche market. But Iger saw the untapped potential. With the Marvel Cinematic Universe just beginning, Disney wasn't just buying characters like Iron Man and Captain America. They were buying a blueprint for an interconnected storytelling universe unlike anything seen before. The gamble paid off spectacularly. The Avengers and the entire roster of over 8,000 Marvel characters now belong to the house that Mickey built. This single $4 billion investment has since generated over $28 billion in global box office revenue alone, marking it as one of the most profitable acquisitions in corporate history. But Disney's conquest of cultural touchstones wasn't finished. In 2012, they set their sights on a galaxy far, far away, acquiring Lucasfilm and the entire Star Wars franchise from its creator, George Lucas, for $4.05 billion. Lucas, ready to pass on his legacy, entrusted his creation to Disney, who immediately announced plans for a new trilogy. This acquisition brought not just films, but decades of merchandising opportunities and the potential for immersive theme park attractions, like the ambitious Galaxy's Edge. Then came the final earth-shattering move. In 2019, Disney cemented its dominance with the $71.3 billion acquisition of 21st Century Fox. This wasn't just buying a rival studio, it was absorbing a huge chunk of Hollywood history. Franchises like X-Men, Avatar, The Simpsons, Alien, and thousands of other properties suddenly belonged to Disney. Crucially, the Fox deal was a declaration of war in the streaming era. It gave Disney a controlling interest in Hulu and a massive library of content to bolster its new service, Disney+. In less than 15 years, this aggressive acquisition strategy had transformed Disney from a legacy animation studio into an unprecedented media conglomerate, a titan controlling a vast and ever-expanding empire of popular culture. Here's where it gets interesting. Fans believe they're choosing between different studios and franchises, but it's all an illusion. A handful of megacorporations now own the vast majority of what we watch, and at the top of that pyramid sits Disney. Whether you watch Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Fox, or ABC, you're consuming Disney content. Walk into any movie theater, and Disney likely controls multiple films on the marquee, even though they appear to be from different studios. This isn't just about owning popular brands, it's about controlling distribution. By dominating the theatrical release schedule, they can effectively crowd out smaller independent films, limiting what audiences even have the chance to see. Disney+, Hulu, ESPN+, and significant stakes in other platforms give Disney unprecedented control over streaming content. This vertical integration gives them the power to not only create content, but to control its delivery and promotion, shaping public viewing habits on a massive scale. They decide what gets recommended, what gets buried, and what gets removed entirely. Disney now controls approximately 40% of the US box office, a level of market concentration not seen since the studio system of the 1940s. Their annual revenue exceeds $67 billion, making them larger than the GDP of many countries. With theme parks on multiple continents, Disney shapes childhood experiences and cultural memories worldwide. From toys to clothing to home goods, Disney merchandise generates billions in additional revenue, extending their influence into daily life. Critics argue that Disney's acquisitions have created a near monopoly in Hollywood, stifling competition and creativity. Independent filmmakers struggle to find distribution as Disney's properties dominate theater screens and streaming platforms. Congressional hearings have questioned whether Disney's market power violates antitrust laws designed to prevent monopolistic practices. With such vast control over entertainment, Disney wields unprecedented influence over global culture and values. Disney's cultural export reaches every continent, potentially homogenizing diverse local traditions and storytelling. Media critics warn that Disney's size allows them to shape public discourse and cultural narratives on a global scale. A handful of Disney executives now make decisions that affect what billions of people watch, read, and experience. Disney's power extends far beyond entertainment into the halls of political influence in Washington, D.C. The company spends millions annually on lobbying efforts, pushing for favorable copyright laws and trade policies. Disney's lobbying helped extend copyright protections, keeping Mickey Mouse and other characters under corporate control for decades longer. International trade agreements often include provisions that benefit Disney's global expansion and intellectual property rights. Former Disney executives frequently move into government positions, while former officials join Disney's corporate ranks. This revolving door between Disney and government raises questions about regulatory capture and conflicts of interest. Disney's political connections help smooth international expansion, even in countries with strict media regulations. Some viewers cite a pivotal ABC controversy. They allege late-night host Jimmy Kimmel was suspended under government pressure, raising First Amendment concerns about state influence over speech. Disney has not publicly confirmed this motive. ABC has not publicly confirmed this motive. Critics further claim his return followed sharp global subscription losses, suggesting business realities overrode earlier pressure. Supporters argue corporate decisions are complex and multifactorial. This disgraceful episode highlights worries about political leverage over media and the power of platforms to shape who speaks and when. Viewer discretion. The preceding account reflects allegations and analysis, not settled fact. Behind the magic of Disney's theme parks lie serious concerns about worker treatment and labor practices. Disney theme park workers, known as cast members, often struggle with low wages despite the company's massive profits. Labor unions have repeatedly clashed with Disney over wages, benefits, and working conditions at theme parks worldwide. In Orlando and Anaheim, Disney employees often cannot afford housing near the parks where they work due to low wages. Disney's international expansion has faced criticism over labor practices in countries with weaker worker protections. Investigations have revealed concerning working conditions in factories producing Disney merchandise overseas. Disney's aggressive stance against unionization efforts has drawn criticism from labor rights advocates globally. Former employees have testified about the pressure to maintain Disney's image while dealing with difficult working conditions and low pay. Disney faces ongoing criticism for sanitizing or completely rewriting historical events and cultural stories in their adaptations. Films like Pocahontas have been accused of romanticizing colonization and erasing the brutal realities of Native American history. Critics argue that Disney appropriates cultures worldwide, stripping away complexity and context for mass market appeal. Academic historians point out significant discrepancies between Disney's versions of events and documented historical facts. For many children worldwide, Disney films serve as their first introduction to history and different cultures. Educators worry that Disney's simplified narratives become accepted as historical truth rather than entertainment fiction. While Disney has increased cultural consultation in recent years, critics argue it's too little, too late for decades of problematic content. With billions of viewers worldwide, Disney's version of history and culture reaches more people than academic sources ever could. Disney Plus launched in 2019 and quickly became a major player in the streaming wars, leveraging Disney's vast content library. Within 2 years, Disney Plus gained over 100 million subscribers, challenging Netflix's streaming dominance. By making Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar content exclusive to their platform, Disney forces fans into their ecosystem. Disney's bundling of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus creates a comprehensive entertainment package that's difficult to resist. Disney's control over streaming content allows them to remove or modify films and shows without public consultation. Content warnings and edits to classic Disney films demonstrate the company's power to reshape its own historical content. Disney Plus content varies by country, showing how the company adapts to different cultural and political pressures globally. Disney is expanding into virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and immersive technologies that could further increase their cultural influence. Plans for Disney's metaverse presence suggest a future where the company could control virtual worlds and digital experiences. Artificial intelligence could allow Disney to create personalized content at unprecedented scale, deepening their reach into individual lives. Governments worldwide are beginning to scrutinize Disney's market power and cultural influence more closely. New antitrust legislation could potentially force Disney to divest some of its acquisitions or limit future expansion. Countries are implementing local content requirements and cultural protection laws that could challenge Disney's global dominance. New competitors and alternative platforms are emerging, though they face the challenge of competing against Disney's vast resources. Disney has built more than an entertainment company. They've created a kingdom that spans the globe and shapes human culture. From childhood memories to adult entertainment, from theme parks to streaming services, Disney's influence touches billions of lives daily. The question remains, is this concentration of cultural power in the hands of a single corporation healthy for society? As Disney continues to grow and acquire new properties, their kingdom becomes ever more powerful and far-reaching. The magic of Disney may be real, but so is the unprecedented corporate power behind the castle walls.